Hello everyone, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I hope all of you are doing good. If you are new to the channel, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, and please make sure that you have turned on the notification bell icon, because as soon as a live stream would be uploaded or I upload a video, you would be automatically notified. Please make sure to like the live stream, and once again, if you are not following me over Twitter, 𝗟𝗏𝗃, this is my Twitter handle, and I occasionally post my updates, the market updates, and a few calls over my Twitter account as well. So once again, if you're not following me over my Twitter account, 𝗟𝗏𝗃, this is my Twitter handle, and you can follow me over Twitter. And this last call about Bitcoin short, I also posted this one, over my Twitter account. If you would like to receive more organized updates, you can always join in the Discord server. The link you will find in the description of this video, the link to the Twitter account and link to the Discord server. I share market updates, swing calls, spot calls, all of these things are shared in the Discord server. So yeah, if you would like to receive more organized updates, real-time updates, you can always join in the Discord server. Let's start the stream. And if you guys have any questions, any queries, anything, any chart request, please make sure to drop it in the chat box. I would get back to you as soon as I'm done with the general market update. Okay, so this has been a very, I would say, very volatile past few days. It's been, right? Bitcoin had a move from 104,000, 103,000, all the way down to 91,000, 92,000. And most of these altcoins, they're down almost 30 to 40%. First of all, we have this short position open already. The entry was 102,000. It was perfectly tagged. Price went up to this resistance area. This was a very important point of control as well. This was a very important resistance as well. And we had on the 4-hour time frame chart, we had the 4-hour quarterly VWAP as well, present around 102,000. And if you would draw the fib levels from the start of impulsive wave to the end of impulsive wave, you would notice that this region, it was perfectly aligned with 70.5% fib level. And this was the reason for taking this short trade. You had fib levels, you had resistance, you had point of control, and you had 4-hour quarterly VWAP. This short position, it's still running. We have taken the first TP of this short position, and around this region, 98,000. And if we start losing this level, then most probably we would go back down to 92.5K or $93,000 region. This is going to be a very important market open. US market will open in the next 20 minutes. In the context of the events that have unfolded in the past few days or during the last 24 hours, this is going to be a very important US market open. And even though the price on the Bitcoin chart is sitting on 98.5K support, 98,000 support, even though USDT dominance is sitting at a resistance area, I clearly mentioned this in my channel also, that I'm not looking to take any long position right now, because two very important events are happening today. The first one is obviously the US market opened. The news came in, Bitcoin was trading around 101,000, 101,500. Then the news came in that China has imposed almost like 10 to 15% tariffs on US, agricultural products from US, and a few important other stuff. I guess LNG and US oil, LNG and agricultural stuff that they import from US, they have imposed a tariff of almost 10 to 15%. And that's when you saw market reacted immediately. There has been this trade war going on between US and China right now. Not just US and China, but at the same time, Mexico, Canada, and a few other countries are also involved. This move that we saw happen over the weekend, when price dropped from 104,000, 103,000, all the way down to 91,000, 92,000 also. This was mainly because of, once again, there is this fundamental part of everything, fundamental side of everything. And then there is, the other part where you can take a look at the chart and you can do the analysis and you can say that, okay, price definitely had to drop from this point. And by the way, remember, I was doing the live stream last week, back on Tuesday, and I had a long position open around here. I had placed my long limit around here. This was a long limit, and this was a stop loss. And someone jokingly mentioned in the chat box that what is this long position doing at 92.5k. So now you know what exactly this long position is doing at 92.5k or $92,000 region. It was because of the deviation. Now that live stream obviously is public. It's uploaded over YouTube. You can go and watch the last live stream that we did previous Tuesday. And over and over again, you would hear me talking about how you should not be taking a long around 98,000 or around 94,000 or around 93,000. Even I tweeted about this as well. Some people were saying that we are going up to 110,000. Some of them saying that 98,000, some of them pointing out about 96,000, some of them saying 93,000. But my take, it was very simple that although there were confluences present around this region or around this region or around this region, if you would go and watch that live stream, you would hear me talking over and over again about why exactly 92.5k retest is so important, or why exactly this retest is going to be a successful one. The reason was very simple, because of this deviation. So deviation model I already have explained in the previous live streams also. I'm not going to explain it once again, but another entry model that I explained in the last live stream was about the demand and the supply zones, right? On the smaller time frame charts, that how can you locate demand and supply zones on the smaller time frame charts. And I had clearly mentioned that there is a significant amount of demand present around in this region on the smaller time frame charts, like on the 5-minute or the 15-minute, which means that if you would go to the smaller time frame, there is a very good possibility that price would, because the deviation has happened, price would just go back and retest this region successfully, and then it would go back up. Obviously, there is this fundamental side as well. The main reason, price dropped from 103,000 all the way down to 92,000 in terms of the fundamental news was because Trump imposed, I guess, a 25% tariff on Canada and 25% tariff on Mexico. And as soon as the news dropped in, you saw that price immediately started reacting. Now the question you might be asking is that why exactly the tariffs, they're so bad for crypto? The answer is obviously very simple, because if the tariffs are imposed over any products that are being imported from any other country, obviously it results in inflation. Obviously you may argue, people who are in favor of tariffs, they may argue that the longer term benefits are huge. Even Trump said this thing that there is going to be a short term pain, but in the longer run the benefits are going to be huge. Yes, you can argue over this thing, but in a shorter term, any risk assets like crypto, as soon as the tariffs are imposed, they are definitely going to react. And this is obviously bad for crypto, because as soon as the tariffs are imposed over products, the price of that product would go up. The main reason why Trump is doing this is because he is trying to encourage manufacturing in the US. He's trying to create jobs in the US, and that's why he's simply just imposing huge tariffs over these products imported from Mexico, Canada, or China. Now if imposing tariffs in a short term would result in prices going up, obviously this would result in inflation, right? And we know that if you don't have money to buy groceries, if you don't have money to buy bills, you would definitely not be buying crypto, right? You would not say that, okay, I don't have money to pay my bills, I don't have money to buy the weekly groceries, let's just invest into crypto. No, definitely you're not going to do that. So the first thing which takes impacts in these kind of circumstances is definitely going to be risk assets like cryptos. It's very natural that whenever the tariffs are imposed, there is this other side also, that whenever the tariffs are imposed, there is some kind of uncertainty, especially to the extent where Trump is just imposing tariffs for a few hours. We saw this happen with this other country called Colombia. He imposed, I guess, 25% tariffs for a few hours. He had a call with the president of Colombia, and then he just reversed the tariff thing. Once again, he imposed tariffs over Mexico and Canada, 25% over the weekend, and market saw this, all of these markets, even the stock market also, we saw a huge drop On the Bitcoin chart, 103,000 all the way down to 91,000, 92,000, and then just in the past 24 hours, we saw that all of these things were completely reversed. He had a call with with the president of Mexico, and he said that because she assured Trump that they would be, placing almost 10,000 troops at the US-Mexico border, and that's why the tariffs, they have been delayed for the next 30 days. And then the similar thing happened with Justin Trudeau as well. He had a call with the Canadian Prime Minister as well. And once again, the tariffs, they were reversed. And you saw that as soon as the US market opened, we saw a positive reaction. But just to give you an idea about the extent of what exactly happened during the past 48 hours, this was not a normal thing. Just to let you know, this was the single largest liquidation event in the crypto history. This was far more bigger than FTX. This was far more bigger than the Luna crash. This was far more bigger than any other thing. Okay. A rough estimate was $2 billion. The $2 billion was wiped out. Almost $2 billion were wiped out of the market during this liquidation event. But then the CEO of Bybit, he recently tweeted almost 18 to 20 hours ago. He made this tweet saying that they have a limit on their API, which means that the data cannot be accessed in full, and only over Bybit, the total liquidations were not $2 billion or $1 billion. And by the way, I'm just talking about the data from Bybit. As per the CEO of Bybit, I'm not talking about any other random person. I'm simply just quoting the words from the CEO of Bybit. He is saying that just on their exchange, just on Bybit exchange, the liquidation number was $8 to $10 billion. And once again, Bybit is not even the biggest exchange. Binance is the biggest exchange. So you can definitely, imagine the extent of it. So if you survived this crash and survived this crash, then you should be feeling lucky. And luckily we did. Luckily we survived this crash. I was clearly warning about the volatility in the altcoin market in my market updates channel. Those of you who are from Discord, you would confirm this in the chat box that I cancelled all of my limit orders just before the crash happened. I cancelled all of my limit orders because we had almost 15 to 16 pending limit orders. I cancelled all of these limit orders, and I said that we had 2 to 3 short positions open. Those short positions were really good. We had one on Hive, we had one on LAI, and the third one was on, I forgot the name of it. Yeah, XVS. The third short position was on XVS, and they immediately dropped 40%, 50%. But the point is that I was clearly warning in my market updates channel and Discord also that there is going to be volatility in the altcoin market for the next 72 hours. Okay, and we are seeing this volatility, right? Prices dropped 40%, then prices went up almost 30%, 35% just in a matter of few hours soon after the US market opened on Monday. And then once again, we are seeing a small drop in the altcoin prices. And I was clearly warning about the volatility in the altcoin market for the next 72 hours. And I cancelled all of my limit orders. The reason obviously was I'm not claiming to have a crystal ball. The reason obviously was Bitcoin dominance that we will be talking about later on. But the point is that if you survived this crash, you should be feeling lucky because most of these other people, they did not. Just over Bybit, the liquidation number was $8 to $10 billion. And almost as per one estimate, 750,000 people were affected. 750,000 people liquidated their accounts during this crash because this was really quite a big crash, right? So, we had a drop once again from 103,000, 104,000 all the way down to 90,000, 91,000 on the Bitcoin chart. We will be talking about the altcoin market as well. But first of all, 2 important events that are going to happen in the next 24 hours. The first one obviously is the US market open. The US market will open in the next 10 minutes. The reaction that you saw happen during the past 15 to 16 hours, that was from the Asian market. Prices dropped once again from 103,000 down to 98,500. That was because China imposed tariffs on US, and now as soon as the US market would open, you would once again see the real reaction, right? What exactly happens? And secondly, at 2:30 p.m. Eastern time, there is going to be a very important press conference by David Sachs. He is the guy who Trump appointed as his crypto advisor. He is going to do a press conference at 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. And if I look at it, the location of the press conference will be Senate Office Building in Washington, D.C. And the topic will be, the US government, what measures the US government is taking, what plans they have to implement in order to maintain America's position within the international digital asset ecosystem. So it's obviously going to be something about crypto, but we are not sure as of yet. Maybe they would announce something related to strategic Bitcoin reserve. Trump already has signed one executive order, and that was the only thing which directly addressed something related to crypto. Almost like 2 weeks ago, soon after the inauguration, like 2 to 3 days after the inauguration, he signed an executive order saying that they would try their best to make US the AI and the crypto capital of the world. And now this guy who is the crypto advisor, who Trump appointed as his crypto advisor, he is going to do a press conference at 2:30 p.m. Eastern time in the Senate Office Building, and he will be talking about what measures they are going to take in order to implement their strategy related to international digital asset ecosystem. So this is definitely going to be a very important press conference. There could be some announcement about strategic Bitcoin reserve, although I'm not really sure about that because they don't really have the power to do this. They may make an announcement, but they don't really have the power to do it because obviously this is something which would be done through proper legislation. This cannot just be done through this just cannot happen through any ordinary executive order, right? So 2:30 p.m. Eastern time, this is what I'm waiting for. We still have this short position open. I'm not really sure if we should be focusing more on short positions or on long positions. Long positions, I'm definitely sure about that. I'm actually trying to avoid long positions as much as I can. In fact, when the US market opened yesterday, we had this positive reaction. Price went up to 100,000, then 102,000. I was clearly once again warning in my market updates channel that there is no need to focus on long trades right now. The reason is because almost all of these altcoins, and if you guys remember, this is something that I mentioned in my last live stream also, in my previous live stream also, that we did last Tuesday, that there is no need to focus on any long position right now. Now, once again, I don't have a magic ball, I don't have a crystal ball. It's all visible right in front of you on the charts. I looked at the charts and I was clearly saying that almost all of the charts, almost like 60 to 70, last week almost 60 to 70% of these altcoins, they already had broken below their higher time frame supports, and the rest of the 40% they did during the past 72 hours. So now almost 90% of the altcoins, 90 to 95% of the altcoins, they are already trading below their higher time frame resistances, which means that any retest of these resistances that you would get are going to be perfect shorting opportunities until and unless you get a deviation move. And one day has already passed. Okay, some of these altcoins have given the deviation move, but 24 hours have already passed, and almost majority of these altcoins are still struggling to break above the higher time frame resistances, which means that the more and more time will pass. Similar is the case with, by the way, Ethereum as well. We recently closed our Ethereum spot position around 2760, 2770. People were saying that Eric Trump, he made a tweet that you should be buying Ethereum and you can thank me later. Please do not trust anything coming from politicians, right? First thing. Secondly, he might just be trying to pump his own bags. So you need not to pay attention to what Eric Trump is saying. You need not to pay attention to what, what the fundamentals are. The only thing that you need to pay attention towards is this chart right in front of you. Any information that you would need regarding any particular financial instrument, it's always available right in front of you on the charts. And this is exactly why we took this short position. I was sleeping. I did not know that China had imposed 10% tariffs on US. I was sleeping. But I took this short position because there were confluences present that price would eventually drop. Now people are blaming that Bitcoin had a very good close above 100,000. I was looking at an analyst, a very popular one, say that Bitcoin had a very beautiful close above 100,000, but the only reason it dropped down below to 98,500 was because China imposed tariffs. Okay, that's not how things work. you cannot always blame everything on the fundamental news, because once again, all the information, this chart right in front of you is a true reflection of whatever is happening in the real world. Both of these things, they go side by side. So right now, we are trading at 98,500. I would say this is a very delicate kind of situation, because as soon as the US market opens, we would see the real reaction. But I'm still short. The stop loss has been moved to break even already. We have already taken the TP1. If we start losing this support, then there is a possibility that we may go down to even 87,000. Okay. If we start closing below this region, if we start closing below 98,500, there is a possibility that we may go down even to 87,000. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is because just look at this previous move right here. Now, you guys must be wondering that, why exactly Bitcoin dropped down to 92,000, 91,500. The reason obviously was deviation retest, but there is another very beautiful confluence present around 91,500. Let me show you what exactly I'm talking about. If you would use and if you are someone who has been watching my live streams, you would know that how big of a fan I am of Fib retracement levels, Fib extension levels. And by the way, almost 90 people are watching the live stream. This is the highest number of viewership that we have ever got over this YouTube channel. But only 23 of you have liked the live stream. Please make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, and please make sure to like the live stream. This would help me create more content. This would help me bring more content for you guys. Okay, so please make sure to like the live stream and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Okay, so first of all, let's just try
Allahu Akbar.
Because if we would better understand what made price bounce off 91,500, obviously the first reason is the deviation retest. But if we are somehow able to precisely predict as to what exactly made price bounce off 91,500, $92,000 region, then we would be better able to predict that where exactly price is headed towards. Okay, now this all depends on the fact that price is not broken above this high right here or this high right here. Now, if we use this fractal right here, this was a swing high, this was a swing low, and that's how basically you look at the price charts. Okay, price is always moving in terms of waves. There are no charts. There is no chart on which price would go straight up. There is no chart on which price would go straight down. Price is always moving in terms of waves, right? This is a wave that I'm talking about right now. This would be much more visible. This would become much more clear if you would look at the higher time frame charts. But let's just focus on the 4-hour. This is an impulsive wave, this is a corrective wave, and this is an impulsive wave. Okay, and then you would have another corrective wave, something like this. And if we continue to follow the same structure, then there is a possibility that we can have another impulsive wave towards downside. Now, as long as this high is not broken, as long as we fail to close any 4-hour candle above this high, this thesis is perfectly valid. Okay, although there is no need to panic, please. Okay, there is no need to panic. But as long as this high is intact, as long as price fails to break and close a 4-hour candle above this high, this thesis that I'm about to mention, it's perfectly valid, and you should be paying attention to it. Because if price can go down to this region right here, the more we know this thing, that more and more a region gets retested, the weaker it actually gets. Okay, we already have seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this was a 7th bounce of this support region. It's not like price would continue to hold this region. At some point in time, price would break below, and we should definitely be prepared for it. Okay, so I'm just placing a limit order. This is for you guys. I'm just placing a limit order just in case we see a bigger crash. We must be prepared for it. We should be prepared for it. And there is a possibility that we may go down to $89,000, $87,000 region as well. The reason why I'm saying this is because if you would use this fractal, I'm drawing the Fib extension levels, by the way. This is your start of impulsive wave, this is your end of impulsive wave, and this is your end of corrective wave. So you can see that this bounce right here, once again, you may say that this bounce happened because of the deviation retest. You may mention that this bounce happened because of the the daily time frame support region. You may mention that this bounce happened because USDT dominance hit into a resistance area, and this is something that I will be talking about next. But another way that you can look at this precise bounce is by using the 127% level, right? We know that 127% level, it's very important. And whenever we have price moving in terms of waves, you can always use a fib extension level. And if you would use this fractal right here, this set of waves right here, impulsive wave and corrective wave, you would notice that the next bounce should have happened at 127% level. But if this fractal is true, which apparently it is, because you have price reacting at this region, even if you would draw the fib retracement levels, this was a very good rejection. This was a very good rejection at 65%, 70% fib level. In this situation also, you can clearly see that this was a very good rejection at 70% fib level. So apparently price has been following this 70% level, and it continues to drop in the same way. And if we continue to follow this fractal, then most probably the next bounce, a price would ultimately drop back down to 161% fib level. Okay, you can say 161, you can say 165, you can say 170.5. Okay, so if I just put 175 level around here, let me see where exactly it is. 1.70 or 1.65 also we can use. So 170% fib level, it's perfectly aligned with this region right here, which is $85,000 support. So just to be on the safer side, okay, yeah, PopCat. So just to be on the safer side, you can always place a limit order around 170,000. Then you can place your stop loss slightly below this low right here, this wick right here. And once again, we would start targeting this resistance area and this resistance area. But this obviously depends if price drops back down to 170% fib level or 161.8% fib level. This really is subject to the fact that price is not broken above this high right here. If we manage to close a 4-hour candle above this high right here, the whole situation obviously would change and this thesis would go invalid. Okay, price so far is giving a nice bounce. The US market, by the way, just opened, and you are seeing a decent bounce happen from this 98,500 support. This still is a support. As long as price is sitting above the support, you cannot say, sorry, as long as price is sitting above the support, you cannot really say anything. And on the USDT dominance chart also, by the way, this is a USDT dominance chart. You can already see this thing. I had two doodles drawn during the past 24 hours. Both of them have played out beautifully. This one was about the resistance region. And by the way, the reason price actually bounced from $90,000, $91,000, $92,000 support on the Bitcoin chart was mainly because of USDT dominance also. Once again, there are different ways that you can look at it. You can take a look at the USDT dominance chart. You can take a look at the Bitcoin chart. Now, look at this resistance right here. This, we had a break below this level back on 6th of November, 7th of November, soon after the US elections. We know that USDT dominance and Bitcoin, they are negatively correlated with each other, right? So we had a break below this support area, and ultimately we had this trend line right here. Price, we know that whenever you have a trend line of this sort, price would ultimately break impulsively above the trend line. This is what exactly happened, and we hit this resistance area right here. And this thing, that how important the first retest is. Okay, I need not to mention this over and over again, but the first retest is always your single best opportunity to take a long or a short trade. And in this situation, this was the first retest, and this resistance had to be retested. This resistance had to be retested because this retest was pending since 5th of November, since 6th of November. All these resistance regions were retested. This one was retested, this one was retested, and this was the only resistance region that was not retested. So we retested this resistance on the USDT dominance chart. On the Bitcoin chart, price was at $90,000, $91,000, $90,500 region, and that's exactly why Bitcoin bounced off from $91,500 region. This is the first thing. Secondly, this doodle that I have drawn, the reason why we had a bounce from 93,500, 94,000, or maybe 95,000 was because of this doodle right here. So immediately, as soon as we hit this resistance area, price dropped immediately. We created a deviation above this resistance also. You cannot really call this a deviation because price actually hit this resistance area also. But the point is that we were not able to hold above this level right here. We immediately dropped back under this resistance region. Then we consolidated on the smaller time frame chart. This is the 2-hour time frame. We consolidated. We know that whenever a deviation gets created above a resistance, because price was not able to hold above this level right here, so that's why you can call it a deviation, although this is not the perfect example of deviation, but this still is a deviation. Price dropped under this resistance region, consolidated, went back up, retested this resistance area. This was not just a retest at the resistance, this was also a retest at MTF200 EMA. We know that how powerful MTF200 EMA is. We retested MTF200 EMA and then we dropped from this region 4.59% all the way down to 4.2%, and that's when Bitcoin pumped from 93,000, 94,000 all the way up to 102,000. The reason we moved back up, and that's why I had this doodle drawn, the reason we moved up from this region was because, or the reason why I took a short position on the Bitcoin chart was mainly because USDT dominance, it was bouncing off this support area. A support is a support. This support was not retested. There was enough consolidation above this support. We know that whenever there is enough consolidation, you can always rely on the retest part. This is what exactly happened. Price perfectly retested. It followed this doodle and now it's sitting at a resistance area. So I would not be surprised if Bitcoin bounces from 98,500, which we just saw happen, because USDT dominance is sitting at a resistance area. This is the resistance. So you may take a very risky long position around 98,500. But if you guys have been following my trading style, you would know that I'm always more focused on the risk to reward ratio part. When Bitcoin was trading around 103,000, almost like, a week ago, everybody was planning to go long around 93,000, 94,000, 98,000. But my plan, once again, was very same. I said that I would only be going long if Bitcoin drops down to $92,000 region. This is what exactly happened. Bitcoin went down to 92,000 and that prediction went very smoothly. We took a short position at 102,000 because in my opinion, there were a decent number of confluences present around in this region. And, because this region was perfectly aligned with USDT dominance also. So there was a reason to take this short position. And now if Bitcoin bounces from 98,500, the problem is that, even though USDT dominance is sitting at resistance, Bitcoin is sitting at support. First thing, because there is definitely going to be volatility. You cannot always predict what exactly would be happening in these kind of volatile situations. And secondly, there is no proper invalidation point, Where would you be placing your stop loss if you are taking a long position around here? The only choice you have is this low right here, 91,256. So you are taking a long position at 98,700. You are placing a stop loss at 91,200. This definitely makes no sense. So that's why, I did not take any long position, although Bitcoin was sitting on support, all the USDT dominance was sitting at resistance. I'm still going with this short position right here. You can already see the amount of volatility. Just 9 minutes into the market open and price is already, has already bounced from 98,500 up to 104,000. 100,400. Okay, so this is a chart for Bitcoin right now, and if we manage to close a 4-hour candle above this high right here, then the situation would obviously change. Or if we manage to close above this region right here, or if we manage to claim this region, reclaim this level, reclaim this region, 103,000, 104,000, then I can definitely, then I would definitely try to build a long position around this region. But so far, I'm just waiting for the news conference. I'm just waiting for market to settle down a little bit. On the USDT dominance chart, there is every possibility that we would drop back down to 4.9%, 4.19%, which means that Bitcoin has every possibility of going up to 103,000 or 104,000. That's where we would attempt another short position, because this support has not been perfectly retested. The bounce that you saw happen was mainly because you have this huge impulsive move towards upside. In these kind of situations, you can always rely on 70.5% fib level, and this is exactly what did. We took a short position on Bitcoin when price was retesting 70.5% fib level. You see, on the Bitcoin chart, things will look like a little bit confusing, but we have the USDT dominance chart and we have a few other charts as well. So during the past, 12 to 14 hours, most of these altcoins dropped once again, had a decent rejection at the resistance regions. That was mainly because others.d, it was sitting at a resistance area. And this is what, my next point is. If you are planning to take any long position right now, please remember that others.d, sorry, it's still sitting at a resistance region. This is a very important resistance. You can see that this is a daily time frame resistance area. We had a break below this level, then we consolidated, then we went back up, and we had a decent rejection at this resistance area. And this is exactly the reason why I'm not planning to take any long position right now. Now, you may argue that, the first choice you had was to catch the wick on most of these altcoins. And apart from few stronger altcoins like Dogecoin, like XRP, like 𝗠UE, like Ethereum to some extent, most of these altcoins, they did not give you a huge V-shaped reversal. So most of these altcoins, they made this huge wick like this, okay? Then they moved back up a little bit, and now they're trading in the very same range, which means that there is definitely a resistance present around here. So that's why I'm avoiding taking any long positions right now. One choice that we still have is on 𝗟𝘁, because this one has given a nice deviation in this region, so we can build a long position around here. But once again, I'm not going to risk any position, at least for the next 2 to 3 hours. We have another option for 𝗬𝗃𝗃𝗃. This one is a good one because we had a very clear deviation below the support level, and by the way, this is the only top gainer right now, only major altcoin that is in top gainers right now. We had a very decent move towards upside. We basically bounced off a very important point of control on the daily time frame chart, and whenever we get a retest of 2.969 level, I would definitely try to take a long position. TAI, this one is another one. We did not get a retest of this level, but yeah, if price goes down to this level, I would definitely try to take a long position. 𝗬𝗎, this one also did not drop down to the higher time frame support after giving a deviation, but if it drops down to this support, I would try taking a long position. Apart from that, I have not seen any single altcoin, except for few major, bigger market cap coins. I have not seen a single altcoin that is not trading under a major resistance level. So that's why I'm saying there is no point building a long position right now. Short positions are risky, a little bit risky right now, because if we see some big announcement being made during the press conference today, the press conference is going to be, I guess, at 7:30 p.m. US, UK time. You guys can let me know in the chat box, but it's going to be at 2:30 p.m. Eastern time, right? In the UK time, you can let me know in the chat box what time is it going to be. But if a big announcement is being made during the presser today, obviously, most of these altcoins, they would break above the resistances, okay? And that's why I'm not risking any short position right now, and long position, obviously, because most of these coins are already trading under the resistance regions. Others.d chart this is. And finally, let's take a look at Bitcoin dominance also. I remember I was doing the live stream almost a month ago, and I mentioned that Bitcoin dominance would ultimately go up to 65%, 64%. In fact, I did mention this thing when it was trading around like 58%, 59%, almost like 2-3 days ago in my channel as well, because price was bouncing off this trend line. It was having rejection at the resistance area. People were saying, hey Sherlock, how did you know that this would happen? It's very simple, because we were trading in a very narrow range, and whenever price is trading in a narrow range, similar by the way case with Ethereum as well, ETH is trading in a very narrow range right now. This is the trend line on ETH. It's struggling to break above this resistance area right here. If it manages to close a few 4-hour candles above this resistance level, above 2800, I would once again enter into the spot position on ETH. But if we continue to consolidate, if we close a few 4-hour candle in this range, then it's going to be a very painful consolidation for Ethereum in this region before it breaks above 2800. Once again, Eric Trump tweeted that, you guys should be buying Ethereum right now. You can thank me later. But yeah, do not focus on the words, coming from politicians. Just try to focus on the charts. Now, Ethereum is basically in a very similar kind of situation, in which you have a resistance around here, you have a support around here, and then you have a trend line, which means it's not going to keep on moving in this range forever. ultimately you would see a bigger break towards downside or bigger break towards upside. The chances of having a bigger break towards upside are, great, if we manage to close a few 4-hour candles above in this range, and that's when we would buy Ethereum once again. That's when we would have a clear invalidation point. At this moment, I still believe there is a huge amount of uncertainty on the Ethereum chart. We did give a nice retest on the quarterly VWAP on the weekly time frame chart. On the Dogecoin as well, we gave a nice retest. Doge is in a much better kind of situation. In fact, Doge was the only coin I was planning to take a long position on when this whole dump was happening, right? But I was just a bit reluctant to do that at that time. It was almost like 3-4 a.m. for me, so I thought, okay, let's just try to assess the situation again soon after the Monday open, and then it pumped a little bit. But the point is that on the daily time frame chart, this is what I'm talking about. HBAR, XRP, Doge, all three of these coins retested the same support level that they broke above soon after the election. Ethereum is obviously always an exceptional kind of situation. The only explanation I have for Ethereum that it broke below $2,800 support region, giving a huge wick down to 2100, 2200, was the over leveraged long position, because people were thinking that price would never ever break below 2600, 2700. It would never go down to 2400, 2500. But this is crypto, right? They made a huge wick down to 2100, 2200. At the same time, they managed to close the daily candle above 2800. So you can imagine the extent of it. You can imagine the extent of manipulation that goes on in this industry or in this space, that all these people, all these positions, they were wiped out. Almost 750,000 people were liquidated in the past 48 hours. But if you are willing to take long positions, HBAR, Dogecoin, XRP, 𝗠UE, try to build long positions on these 4 coins, because they are extremely strong right now, and they are retesting their higher time frames, not the daily time frame support, but actually the weekly time frame support. This is a chart for Dogecoin. I can show you the chart for XRP as well. I can show you the chart for HBAR as well. HBAR, in fact, was my favorite chart. This is a chart for HBAR. Ondo also, to some extent. In fact, we had a spot position on Ondo. We had to cancel it along with the other spot positions as well. But you can see that this is the weekly time frame support, and that's why the higher time frame is so important. Whenever you are confused, whenever you are in doubt, always try to zoom out a little bit. Always go to the higher time frame chart, and that's where you would find out the real amount of information, right? So on the HBAR chart as well, you can see that this is a weekly time frame support. HBAR, we know that it's a strong coin. It retested this weekly support for the very first time, gave a nice bounce off this support, and it's already up almost 38%, 39%. Similar is the case with XRP, similar is the case with Doge, similar is the case with 𝗠UE as well, that it retested the higher time frame support, right? But once again, if you talk about the rest of these altcoins, they are trading under their major resistance region. So I was telling you the story of this guy who was arguing with me, during this live stream, when I mentioned that Bitcoin dominance would go up to 65%, 70%, because this is a very popular narrative in the market right now. And he started arguing that, how did you come up with the 65%, 70% number? Nobody's saying that 65 Bitcoin dominance would go up to 65%, 70%. I'm not making up any of these numbers. This was a major sentiment in the market. This was a very popular narrative in the market, that for any altcoin rally to start, Bitcoin dominance would have to go down to 65%, 70%. In fact, as soon as we had a wick, I was updating in real time. When Bitcoin went down to 96,000, people were opening over leveraged long positions. And I was warning in my market updates channel that there is going to be round 3 of Bitcoin dominance also. And soon after that happened, after a few hours, altcoins dropped another 20%, 30%. Okay, so I tried my best to save my audience from this crash, and luckily we managed to come out, I would say, victorious in this whole situation, because we did not open a single long position during this whole situation. We had 3 short positions and we did not open a single long position. We cancelled all of the limit orders. So if you were listening to me, if you were paying attention to the market updates being shared, then and soon after Bitcoin dominance made this huge wick, I updated in my market updates channel that you can just go and buy your favorite altcoin. Try to focus on the stronger coins, but you can DC into your favorite coins, and you can buy your favorite altcoin. You would find the best possible entry in this situation, and that's exactly what happened. Prices went up almost like 15%, 20% immediately. But in a longer run, I would still say that prices are still trading under the resistance levels, and nothing really is going to change until and unless Bitcoin dominance breaks below this trend line. It's a good thing that Bitcoin dominance went up to 65%, 64% level almost, because this had to happen ultimately. I'm glad that this already has happened, because it's been almost 1.5 years that we have been waiting for Bitcoin dominance to give a wick like this, or give a move up to 64%, 65%. There is still a very small outside chance that it would go up to maybe 70% level also, which means that altcoin would go down another 30%, 40%, right? I know this is crazy, but if we close this, if we start breaking below this trend line, ultimately we would drop back down to this trend line. We know how volatile Bitcoin dominance is. It wouldn't take much time, but if we start breaking below this trend line, this is going to be a similar situation that we faced soon after the elections, because soon after the elections, Bitcoin dominance had this trend line right here, and it broke below the trend line. And this was a trend line I'm talking about. This was a weekly time frame trend line on Bitcoin dominance chart. It took quite some time on the Bitcoin dominance chart to break below this trend line, but that did happen. And in the month of November, in the last quarter 2024, we had most of these altcoins going up 60%, 70%, 80% soon after the elections, right? So similar thing would happen, but you need to be patient. You need to focus solely on USDT dominance. Try to open long positions when Bitcoin goes down to support and Bitcoin dominance goes up to resistance. Okay, try to open short positions when Bitcoin dominance goes to support. By the way, you can already see this thing. Bitcoin was retesting 102,000 resistance region. Bitcoin dominance was sitting on a support. That's when you would open short positions on altcoins, and it would have paid massively, because during the past like 18 to 19 hours also, most of these altcoins, it dropped another like 12%, 13%, right? Now over to you guys. I would be taking a few questions. Please make sure to any query, any question that you may have, any chart request that you have, please make sure to drop it in the chat box. And once again, only 58 people have liked the live stream. Please make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, and please make sure to follow me over my Twitter account as well. I'm still stuck at 5,600 followers after like almost 2 years. I'm still stuck at 5,600 followers, but yeah, please make sure to follow me over Twitter, and make sure to join the Discord server, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and like the live stream. Press the notification bell icon as well. Solana, please. Okay, Fartcoin, Popcat, Fartcoin, 𝗖𝗍𝗶𝗄. Okay, let's start with 𝗖𝗍𝗶𝗄. So 𝗖𝗍𝗶𝗄, this one is trading under resistance. Okay, I need not to. 1 second, let me show you the chart. So 𝗖𝗍𝗶𝗄, it's trading under the resistance, which means that you can already see that price had a break below the support level, then it consolidated a little bit. Then last night it went up to this resistance area, then it dropped almost 19% immediately. Okay, the more and more we would retest, the more and more we would have rejections at this resistance area, the better it's going to be. But as of now, at this moment, the situation on the chart is not looking good, because obviously price is trading under a major resistance region, right? So only if price breaks above, consolidates, and then goes on to give a retest, that's when you can build a long position on 𝗖𝗍𝗶𝗄. If you are holding in spot, then you need to be very careful, because price is trading right under a major resistance level. So this is my point of view on 𝗖𝗍𝗶𝗄. I would show you a few other charts also, but it's going to be most probably a similar kind of take on all of these charts. Let's talk about Fartcoin. This one is also trading at the resistance region. We have this trend line on the Fartcoin chart. Let me just try to reposition this trend line. This is a trend line that I'm talking about. We know that Fartcoin, it's always extremely volatile. Okay, you had a very small break below this support level, then we consolidated a little bit, then we went back up, we retested this resistance, then we dropped down another 15%, 16%. But most of these charts, you need not to look at the 4-hour time frame chart, but on the daily. So on the daily, you would notice that there was a very small deviation below the daily time frame support, which means that if Fartcoin manages, you can already see that I have alert set. So if it manages to break above this trend line, and if it manages to close a few 4-hour candles above this level right here, then this move below the support level, it would simply just be considered as a deviation, and that's when I would try to position myself into a long position or a spot position on Fiatcoin. But I would generally try to avoid Fiatcoin because in my opinion it's going to suffer the very same fate as as to what happened with Popcat and a few other meme coins. TIA chart. Okay, let's take a look at Celestia. And by the way, I'm not going to take a look at Popcat because it's a shit coin, already a dead coin right now, so there is no point doing that. So on the Celestia chart, this was a short position that I talked about during the last live stream. You can already see that how beautifully it played out. Price had a break below the resistance, below the support level, then it consolidated a little bit, then it went back up, retested this resistance area, and then it was a very good short position, almost a 42% move, right? Let's just remove this one. Now, the thing is that, and by the way, this was a very good long position as well because this was the initial consolidation when the coin was listed. Okay, so on the smaller time frame chart, if you would look at it, I don't want to waste time, but if on the smaller time frame chart, if you would look at this consolidation period, then this would appear as a nice demand zone, right? So we know that whenever there is a consolidation period before huge impulsive move upside or downside, the region is basically termed as demand or supply zone. Okay, if you would invert the chart, this would become a nice supply zone, and they always act as a very good support or resistance. So this was a very good spot position, whatever you would like to call it, spot position or long position. You could have placed a stop loss just below this low, and the risk to reward ratio, in my opinion, it was still amazing because you would have been targeting this resistance area. So that's still a 4.82 risk to reward ratio. But anyways, we are trading above this support level. We are trading under this resistance area. I don't have any take on Celestia right now. Price needs to maybe break below the resistance, above the resistance or below the support in order for me to say that okay, I'm about to build a longer short position. But one way, one possibility is of taking a long position right here because this is a huge demand wick, and there is a possibility that on most of these altcoins, price would once again retest. For any of these altcoins that are sitting above their higher time frame supports, there is still a possibility that price would go down and retest those supports. One example is Dogecoin, another example is Celestia. There is a possibility that price may go down to this support region, and that's when you can build a long position. But I would not do that. The real bravery, being a trader, is to build a long position when the whole market is red, or to take the short position when the whole market is green. It's there is no point bidding on a support level over and over again, or there is no point bidding on a resistance area over and over again. The real bravery is if you had taken the long position the first time it was giving the retest, just by trusting your basic instincts, just by trusting the confluences that you have, just by trusting your analysis, you should have taken the long position when the market was dropping crazy. That's when you would get the best possible risk to reward ratio. Similar is the case with Dogecoin as well. When the market was dropping crazy, the real bravery was if you had taken the long position on Dogecoin or on HBAR at those higher time frame supports, right? The US may introduce a stablecoin framework. Is the US going to have their own stablecoin? I'm not really sure about that. I don't have any comments on this because no such idea has been proposed ever. Okay, there is always some rumor circulating that US could just introduce their own stablecoin, a digital dollar or something like that, but no such proposal has been made by government. Nobody in the government has mentioned any such thing. So yeah, we need not to pay attention to it. Solana, please. Okay, let's take a look at Sol. This is a chart for Sol on the 4-hour time frame chart because we had a nice deviation below this support level. Although this is not a perfect support, this is not a good support because you can see that we already have seen previously that price, without giving any kind of respect to this support level, price had a break below. Without giving any kind of respect at this resistance area, price had a break above. So I'm not a big fan of this support level. I would have taken long position on Solana, but I avoided that because Sol is the chart maybe that I'm always avoiding. It's a very noisy chart for me for some reason. I'm always, I would say, a bit clueless looking at the Solana chart. I don't know what exactly is the reason but I'm always a bit clueless whenever I look at the Solana chart. But anyways, this is a support for Sol. You can see that we had a massive deviation below the support. This would become much more clear if you would take a look at the daily time frame chart, which means that if you get an opportunity, and make sure to place your stop loss in this range. This is going to be a tight stop loss, only 5% stop loss. If we get a chance, we can build a long position on Solana around $200 region, right? Apart from that, the chart obviously is a bit noisy. You would have to take a look at some other correlated chart. But on the Solana chart, you can see that it's still trading under this resistance level. It's a kind of a sandwich situation for me, something that I refer to as a sandwich situation. This is a support, this is a resistance. Prices, you can see, having rejection at the resistance area, it's bouncing at the support. So you are not, realistically speaking, you are not going to get the best possible risk to reward ratio. Even if you take a long position at this support, that's only going to be 1.8 risk to reward ratio. Some people like to place the trading tool like this, saying that price would go up to 277%. This is not a realistic approach, because this is a resistance level and you need to give respect to it. As long as price is trading under resistance area, there is every possibility that it may even go down to zero, because this is the resistance, as people would be taking short positions at the resistance, and this is a support and people would be taking long positions at this support. And this is a kind of a sandwich situation. That's why I'm always avoiding the Sol chart, because usually the price action, it's very noisy. Avalanche, let's take a look at Avalanche. And last time, if I remember, I looked at the Avalanche chart, it was trading, or it had broken below the resistance level. Yeah, so let's just try to chart it once again. Let's remove all the drawings. The first obvious thing is that price is trading under this resistance level. You can see that we had the first bounce, you have the second bounce, you had the third bounce, you had the fourth and the fifth bounces. And notice the intensity of these bounces. With each one of these bounces, okay, the reaction was getting smaller and smaller and smaller, which basically is showing you that the buyers, they are no longer interested in taking or building long positions at this support area. Ultimately, we had a break below, then we consolidated, then we went back up, and we had a nice rejection at this resistance area. So this was a very good short position on the Avalanche chart. You could have placed your stop loss just above this high, and you could have targeted the next support level, right? So right now, Avalanche chart, it's once again painting a very similar kind of picture. It's still trading under this resistance level. You can see that this is the resistance area. Price had a nice bounce above this support, nice bounce, another bounce, another bounce. Then we had a break below. We had the first rejection, we had the second rejection, but this was in the form of deviation. We know that whenever there is a deviation, the next retest is always a very good shorting opportunity. So this was a very good shorting opportunity. You could have placed your stop loss above the resistance, and this would have still given you a 2 risk to reward ratio. But anyways, there was another rejection, the first one, the second one, the third one. Then price had a break above. Then the first bounce, the second bounce obviously failed. Price is consolidating in this region, which means that if you were looking at the 4-hour time frame chart, that you could have already taken this short position on the Avalanche chart. And this is what exactly I'm trying to say. All of these altcoins, almost 90 to 95% of these altcoins, they are already trading under their major resistance levels, right? All you have to do is just wait for the reclaim. Or on the daily time frame chart also, the consolidation has just started on the Avalanche chart, which means that even if you did not take this short position, the more and more price consolidates in this range, the solid this resistance is going to get, and lesser the chances of having a deviation, which means that anytime the retest happens, it could be in the next 2 days, 3 days, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It's going to be a very good short position, stop losses above, and at least you can target this next support region. Okay, this is the next support. At least this next support is going to get targeted, which is still going to give you a decent 3 risk to reward ratio. All right. So this is my take on Avalanche. Once again, it's a very similar kind of situation that you would find on most of these other altcoins as well. They are trading under their major resistance levels. So please wait for the reclaim. Please do not go long blindly, only thinking that Eric Trump posted this, or there is going to be an announcement about Bitcoin, or there is going to be an announcement about crypto. The market is not reacting. Market has been extremely volatile. It has been extremely manipulative price action for the past few days. And anything that you need to pay attention to is the chart right in front of you. And the chart is telling me that Avalanche is not looking good because it's trading under the resistance level. That's it. I'll go. Okay, this is the chart for Algo. We did not take this long position. If you guys remember the last live stream also, I clearly mentioned that, somebody asked me about Algo, and I mentioned that, the first retest has already happened. The first retest is always your single best opportunity to take a longer short position. By the time you have second retest or the third retest or the fourth retest, chances of winning in that setup, they're significantly reduced. So in the case of Algo as well, you can see that the first retest that was successful, and the second retest you had a huge liquidation wick. Okay, but luckily Algo is trading above this support level. It has not closed below this, below this level right here, which means that this level has still not been lost, and in fact we have got a deviation below this support level. So I would set a small alert around here, which means that I'm waiting for Algo to move up a little bit, go up something like this. And whenever the deviation retest happens, something that I showed you in the Bitcoin chart also, whenever the deviation retest happen, I would place my stop loss just below this low or maybe in this region right here. And then I would target this next resistance area and then this next resistance area. Okay, so it's going to give you a decent risk to reward ratio. But once again, it's subject to the condition that Algo consolidates above. Algo moves up a little bit and consolidates. The reason why it's not going to do that immediately is because there is a small resistance present around here, right? It would become much more visible on the 4-hour time frame chart. This is the 4-hour time frame. You can already see that you had a rejection. Sorry, you had a rejection, you had a rejection, you had a bounce, bounce, bounce. Once again, this was a deviation. So the next bounce is always a good long opportunity. You have another bounce, and now this is a resistance rejection. So it's a very complicated situation on the algo chart, I would say, honestly, because this is a high time frame support, this is a 4-hour resistance. So it's a very cluttered kind of situation. It's a sandwich situation. Literally you would not get anything because this is resistance, this is support. Price is just trading in the middle of both of these levels. But there is volume divergence. I'm never really using divergences. I've never really used RSI, which means that I have no clue about that. I'm never really using Bollinger Bands, RSI, divergences, bullish divergence, bearish divergence. This is not something that I'm using. Ski chart, let's take a look at Ski as well, because I know that some people would be watching this live stream from Kaizen as well. First of all, I would like to welcome you. And if you guys remember, I shared the chart for Ski in my channel as well, and I clearly mentioned that this is my take on Ski, right? Okay, wow, something has changed. Price has once again reclaimed this level. Once again, price already reclaimed this level, and we know that whenever the reclaim happens, the retest, whenever after the deviation the retest happens, it's always a very good buying opportunity. So this is what exactly happened with Ski as well. This was a very good buying opportunity, but in a longer run, if we continue to lose this level, this is where I would go long on Ski, or this is where I would be looking to buy Ski. Okay, this region right here, around 0.071. But yeah, anyways, this was a very good buying opportunity, because I did not notice this, by the way, but we had a deviation, then we came back up, then we consolidated, then we gave a nice retest on the daily time frame chart. I don't know if the retest has happened or not. Yeah, on the daily time frame chart, this was a deviation. The retest may have not happened, but yeah, let's set an alert around here. So any opportunity that we get to buy Ski around here, it could be a good one. But in the longer run, I still believe it's going down to 71. If we continue to lose this level, it would go down to this region right here. But nothing is confirmed right now, because after this deviation, it's very obvious that price would continue to go up, at least up to this resistance area. But we would have to keep a very tight stop loss in this situation. I just opened my mouth in the shock when I woke up and saw everything down 30%, 40%. Yeah, that's true. What is Ferdin is saying? Look at Dawn. Just give me a second. Can you check out FET? I looked at AI coin. FET is not my favorite coin, to be very honest. FET is long dead. Render is still a bit alive, but I would say FET is long dead. So anyways, I would look at FET. Let's take a look at what's happening with Fetch AI, FET. Been quite some time since I looked at it. FET. So let's start with the 3-day time frame chart, and this is the support that we are talking about, right? This is the higher time frame 3-day support. You can call it the weekly support as well. Price is still trading above it. This was the resistance and price came back up. This was the first retest. You see how powerful these retests are. Okay, this was a very good buying opportunity to buy 𝗬𝗁𝗍 back on 5th of August, right? Because this was the first retest. It gave you almost a 267% move. You could have taken your TP by drawing the fib level, start of impulsive wave, end of impulsive wave. Price did not go up to, or maybe it did. If you would use the volume profile as a way to select your TP, yeah, you can see that price perfectly retested the point of control around here. So this was a very nice TP that you could have taken on the 𝗬𝗁𝗍 chart. But price is still sitting above the weekly level. I believe it has given a small consolidation as well. This is the FET chart. Price may have given a small consolidation. And by the way, this was a very good short position as well. This was a good long position, and when price was retesting the point of control, you may have taken a short position, tight stop loss. You can see that, and targeted this next support. It would have taken almost 2 months, but would have given you a 61% move. Anyways, FET is still sitting above this weekly support. So, price has failed to consolidate above. If we get, let me set an alert. If we get a small move like this, okay, I would set an alert around here. If we manage to close a few 4-hour candle or the daily candles above in this range, then I would definitely take a long position at the time of retest. That's going to be my long position, or that's going to be my spot position. Stop loss is huge. I would be taking a spot position, right? And this is, by the way, the resistance for FET right now. The risk to reward ratio is not good. It's only going to be like 43%. But yeah, we can have a tight stop loss. It's only subject to the condition that FET actually consolidates above. If it fails to consolidate, obviously, then we wouldn't be taking any position on FET. It has to consolidate above. It has to confirm this deviation right below in this region. What are your top AI picks? I don't have any kind of emotional association with any coins. I don't have any emotional association with any projects. I don't have any longer term association with any projects except for Bitcoin, to be very honest, to some extent Ethereum as well. These two are the only coins that I'm holding for a longer term, and which means that I don't have any AI picks for the next 5 months, 6 months, 7 months. This has been a strategy which I would say has been a successful one, especially in the current market cycle. Holding on to these coins for a longer term is never really a good idea, because we know that 10 years from now, all of these things, they are ultimately going to zero, okay, except for Bitcoin and maybe Ethereum as well. What is your opinion on 𝗏𝗏? I already told you guys, 𝗏𝗏 had a very nice retest at the support. That was a good opportunity to build a position. You were just trading the ranges then. Yes, this is something that I've mentioned in my previous live streams also, that I am less of an investor and more of a trader, because most people, they are not able to differentiate between these two terms. They think that a trader is same as an investor, but that's not true. The investor's mentality or the psychology, it's entirely different from a trader. Being a trader, I am less concerned about if Bitcoin is going to 200,000, 300,000, 500,000 or 1 million. Being a trader, I'm only concerned about if it's going up to 102,000 or going down to 95,000, 92,000. Michael Saylor, for example, he is an investor and he is less concerned about if Bitcoin is going up to 105,000 or going down to 92,000. He is more concerned about $500,000 or $1 million Bitcoin. Okay. So an investor is a totally different term and a trader is a totally different term. Being a trader, my job is just to trade the levels, and the level next is 103,000, 105,000, and levels down below are maybe 92,000, 95,000. That's my approach, and that's the approach of every single trader. Most people, being a trader, they like to call themselves investors as well, but an investor and a trader, these are, once again, both of these are different terms. Please check Brett. The last time I looked at Brett, it was trading under a resistance. Let me show you the chart. This is a chart for Brett. Yeah, it's trading under a major resistance area, although we have a small support present around here. Once again, the same situation as FET and another coin that I showed you. There was a small, demand zone present around here. So you could have taken a long position at this region, but it's still trading under a very major resistance area. So there is no good long position on bread for me right now. In fact, I'm planning to take a short position, and that's why I already have an alert set on the bread chart right here, which means that I'm waiting for price on the daily to consolidate something like this, and whenever it gives a retest, I'm definitely going to build a short position. uh Going to place a tight stop loss just above this resistance area, and based on the smaller time frame structure change, I'm going to take a short position on bread at the retest of this resistance area. You see, it's the same thing, it's the same fact about any of these other altcoins. They are trading under their major resistance levels, which is kind of pathetic, I know. But as long as others.d is trading below this higher time frame, below this daily resistance, nothing really is going to change. If it breaks above this resistance area, obviously then you can start taking longs on altcoins as well. Obviously then the structure will change on these altcoins as well, and on others.d as well. Others.d is something which is mainly dictating what's happening with all of these altcoins right now. Pratik is saying, how long do you hold your spot coins? Like I said, Bitcoin and to some extent Ethereum and to some extent Dogecoin, these are my only three holdings as of now. And I generally, because these are super long-term holdings. Bitcoin I have been holding for quite some time. Ethereum I have been accumulating between 3,500 and 2,300 for quite some time. I had a very good opportunity to sell Ethereum around $4,100, $4,000 region, but for some reason I did not do that because I was looking at the on-chain data, and as per the on-chain data, unlike Bitcoin, nobody has taken profits off their Ethereum position, and I'm still being patient. I don't need cash immediately, which means that I would not be selling Ethereum at least till 4,800, 4,900. I had a long-term bag on Solana, by the way. I had bought it around 120, 130. A lot many payments I get from different people, they are in Solana, and I had a big bag on Solana. The average entry was around 100, 105, 120, 130, around this region, and I sold it all around 249, I guess. Yeah, 239 or 249, and that was when Solana created the new all-time high. I exited the complete position around 239, and that's it. I have learned so much this past month taking your trades. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, 𝗓𝗄𝗃. Thank you so much, and I hope all of you are doing good. Please make sure to always follow the updates in the market updates channel, or if you are following me over Twitter, please make sure to just pay attention to the market updates. Make sure to watch some of the previous live streams also, because these live streams are not just about me sharing the market updates. These live streams are more about me sharing the analysis about what exactly has happened in the past 1 week or so, or in the past few days. So yeah, it's a very important, great source of information for everyone who is who cannot afford the mentorship program, who cannot afford to join the Discord server. They can always watch these live streams and do their own analysis. You can always send me your analysis. You can always DM me your charts on Twitter or maybe in Discord. I would try my best to reply to you. I would try my best to respond to you. Thank you so much once again for joining in. I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. Once again, please make sure to like the live stream. Please make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. And make sure to follow me over Twitter, 𝗟R𝘁𝗲. This is my Twitter handle. And if you would like to receive more organized updates and calls, you can always join the Discord server. The link you can find in the description of this video. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 is asking how to use the quarterly VWAP. I guess you would you would have to watch all of these live streams of mine, and you would understand how to use a quarterly VWAP, how to use a yearly VWAP. And once again, this was a very good short position, I still believe. And that's exactly why I'm saying that, you just need to give it some time. Only 1 hour only 1 hour since the US market opened, and there has already been a huge volatility. Price went from 98,500 up to 100,500 and then dropped back down to 98,500. And the reason why I took the short position was partially because of this quarterly VWAP, because of the resistance, because of the Fib level, because of USDT dominance, and because of the point of control. And yeah, the more confluences you would have, the better your analysis is going to be. A more filtered, a better filtered trade, a better position you would be able to take. Okay, thank you so much for joining. Take care and have a great week ahead. Can we have 2 streams a week? Yes, we are rolling out the system in which I would be doing daily live stream. but that's only going to be for the paid members. For the premium members, I would do one free live stream every single week, and I would do 7 other live streams per week, but for the paid members. And those live streams are going to include some live trading calls as well. All right. So thank you so much. Take care and have a great week ahead.